You stand quietly near the couch, your hands clasped together while Jungkook paces back and forth, his frustration clear on his face. His mother, seated on the couch, looks at him with a calm yet firm expression. Jungkook suddenly stops pacing and turns to his mother. Sighing heavily, he rubs the back of his neck. Why did you bring her here, Mom? What's wrong with her old college? It was fine, wasn't it? Your heart tightens as he looks at you with clear annoyance, but you remain silent, unsure of what to say. Jungkook's mother speaking gently, trying to ease the tension. Jungkook, her old college is so far from our house. It's better for her to be here, closer to family. He frowns deeper, shaking his head. But why couldn't she stay there until we finish college? What difference does it make now? You feel a lump form in your throat as you watch him. It hurts to see him so upset because of you. Jungkook, you two are married now. It's time to start living together and getting used to each other. Her tone soft but firm. He throws his hands up in frustration. I know we are married, but this isn't how it's supposed to be. We got married because of harmony, but that doesn't mean we should be forced to live like this. We can't even focus on our studies with all this pressure. He looks at you, his eyes almost pleading. Mom, send her back to her old college. Let her study there. I need some peace. Your chest tightens as you hear his words. You lower your eyes to the floor, feeling tears pricking at the corners. You don't want to cause trouble or make things worse for him. His mother glancing at you with concern before turning back to her son. What about you, Ryan? Do you want to go back to your old college? You quickly shake your head, your voice small and innocent. No, Mom, I'm fine here. You glance at Jungkook, but he just looks more frustrated. You don't want to be a silent crocodile as he expects you to be. His jaw tightens as he runs a hand through his hair. See, Mom, she's just saying that because she doesn't want to upset anyone, but it's not fair to either of us. I can handle this. Your heart aches as you watch him struggle, but you reminded yourself to be strong and don't show pity on him. So you stayed there silently watching the drama between them. She sighed, seeing stress on both your faces. Jungkook, I understand this is hard, but you are both in this together. It will take time, but you will figure it out. Suddenly the door creaks, and Harmony Jungkook's grandmother enters the room. Her presence immediately silences everyone. Jungkook straightens up and his mother quickly changes the subject, not wanting to worry her. What's going on here? She demanded, her tone sharp. His mother cheerfully, as if the previous conversation never happened. Oh Mom, we were just talking about how Ryan is adjusting to her new college. Everything is going well. Harmony nods with a knowing smile, her eyes twinkling as she looks between the two of you. Good, good. You both should be focusing on your studies, but don't forget to look after each other too. Actually gets married upon her request, so has less time to live being in her 90s with her disease. As doctor said she can die any moment, she asked this last race. As she was watching you both since childhood, your parents are business partners. You lower your head, feeling the weight of her words. You know how much this marriage means to her, and you don't want to disappoint her. He forces a smile, though it doesn't reach his eyes. Of course, Harmony, we will take care of each other. The tension in the room is visible, but Harmony's presence brings a temporary peace. As she sits down, the conversation shifts to lighter topics, but the unspoken conflict between you and Jungkook is still left in the air. The dining room is filled with the soft clinking of cutlery as everyone finishes their breakfast. The atmosphere is quiet except for the occasional sigh from Jungkook, who looks like he is about to explode from frustration. You keep your gaze lowered, eating slowly, trying not to draw any attention to yourself. Jungkook finishes his meal quickly, pushing his chair back with a loud scrape as he stands up. He is about to leave when his grandmother speaks. Firmly but gently, "Jungkook, where are you going?" Jungkook stopping in his tracks, he sigh again, his back facing her. "I'm going to college, Grandma." With a knowing look she crosses her arms. "And what about Vine? She is also studying in your college, right? Take her along with you. How can you forget about your wife?" Jungkook's jaw clenches and his hands ball into fists as he sighs. He closes his eyes, clearly trying to keep his temper in check. After a tense moment, he exhales sharply. Through gritted teeth, he said, "Okay, I will wait in the car." Without another word, he storms out of the house. The front door slamming behind him, you watch him leave, feeling a familiar pain in your chest. He quietly finishes your breakfast, standing up and gathering your things to leave as well. As you reach the door, Jungkook's mother approaches you, her face softening with concern. Don't mind his words, Wine. He just tired. All these marriage rituals and responsibilities are new to him. You offer her a small, reassuring smile, though it doesn't quite reach your eyes. "I know, Mom. Don't worry. I'm alright." She gives you a comforting pat on the shoulder and you head out the door. As soon as you step outside, you heard the loud, impatient beeping of the car horn. Jungkook is already in the driver's seat, his expression thunderous. He is tapping the steering wheel, his other hand on the horn, clearly signaling for you to hurry up. You quicken your pace, hurrying towards the car. You open the front door and slip inside. Jungkook doesn't say a word, but you can feel his anger radiating off him. You glance at him nervously, then quickly turn to the car's front mirror to adjust your hair. His eyes flash with irritation as he watches you, but he remains silent. After a moment, you catch his angry glare and feel the need to break the silence. "What? Am I not allowed to touch your mirror?" He doesn't respond, just grips the steering wheel tighter and starts the car with a rough turn of the key. His annoyance is visible, and the silence between you two is suffocating as he drives off. As the car speeds down the road, you steal a glance at him again, wondering if there is anything you can say or do to make things more better. But his cold, distant behavior makes it clear that now. So you stay silent, watching the world pass by outside. The car pulls up to the college, and you can already feel the tension between you and Jungkook intensifying. He parks the car with a jerk, his annoyance still evident. As you both sit in silence for a moment, he finally speaks, his voice cold and firm. "Without looking at you, don't talk about our marriage to anyone here and stay away from me, got it?" You feel a flash of anger at his words. You had enough of his attitude. You refuse to let him belittle you any further. "I will never say it and degrade my level. Don't worry, I'm not interested in guys with low standards like you," you said with a sharp tone, flipping your hair confidently. You push open the car door and step out, not giving him a chance to reply. As you walk away, you can feel his gaze on you, but you don't turn back. You hold your head high as you disappear into the crowd of students heading into the college. As you enter the main hallway, you're lost in thought, trying to forget the encounter with Jungkook. Suddenly, you bump into someone, causing her books to scatter across the floor. Quickly bending down to help her gather the books. "Oh, I'm sorry, I wasn't watching where I was going." Smiling as she picks up her books. "It's okay, happens to everyone." You nod, handing her the last of her books. "Yeah, I'm Vine, by the way." "Nice to meet you, Vine. I'm Meena. If you need help with anything, just let me know." "Actually, could you tell me where the principal's office is? I need to submit some papers." "Of course, just go straight down this hallway and it's the second door on the right." "Thank you, Meena. I really appreciate it." "No problem. Good luck with your first day." You wave goodbye to Meena and make your way to the principal's office, where you quickly submit your papers. The secretary gives you direction to your classroom, and you thank her before heading off to your classroom. After a few minutes later, you stand outside the classroom door, taking a deep breath before knocking. The professor's voice calls out for you to enter, and you step inside, the entire class turning to look at you. Looking up from his desk, "Ah, you must be the new student. Please introduce yourself to the class." "Hello everyone, my name is Vine. I just transferred here and I'm looking forward to studying with you all." The professor nods approvingly. "Welcome, Vine. There is an empty seat at the back." He pauses, scanning the room before his eyes land on Jungkook, who is sitting alone. "Actually, the only seat available is next to Jungkook. Please take the seat." Your heart sinks as you realize you will have to sit beside him. You glance at him, and he is staring straight ahead, avoiding your gaze. With no other choice, you walk towards the back of the room and slid into the seat next to him. As you sit down, you can feel the tension between you two, but you force yourself to focus on the lecture. Jungkook doesn't greet you and you decide to do same. The class begins and you take out your notebook, trying to concentrate on the lesson and ignore the cold human beside you. The professor resumes the lecture, the room quiet except for the sound of chalk against the blackboard. After a few minutes you hear a low whisper from him, filled with irritation. Without turning to look at you, "Why do you have to be in my class?" he whispered. You roll your eyes, not in the mood for his attitude, whispering back with equal frustration, "If I had known it was your class, I would not have attended. Such a headache now." Your words hit a nerve. "Don't disturb me," he said and rested his head on the desk, clearly trying to block you out. You let out a small sigh, deciding it's best to ignore him. Turning your attention back to the professor, you do your best to concentrate on the lecture, but soon you notice out of the corner of your eye that Jungkook has fallen asleep. His head is nestled in the crook of his arm, his face relaxed and peaceful. It's a stark contrast. Why does he hate me this much? The eyes that used to look at me with such deep love now only show hatred? But still, something seems off. His behavior and his eyes, they don't match. Even when he is angry, there is guilt in his eyes. You shake your head, pushing those thoughts away. It's too confusing to think about it right now. The next day, you are chatting with Meena near your locker, exchanging notes and small talk as you grab your books for the next class. Everything seems normal until you hear a loud, mocking voice echoing down the hallway. "Hey, new chick." Mina's eyes widen and she leans closer to you to whisper. In a hushed tone, "Wine, be careful. The popular girl and her friends are coming. They are dangerous, total bullies." You smirk, closing your locker door with a click. "So such annoying exes here too." As if on cue, Chlorine, the leader of the popular girls, struts up to you with a smug expression, her friends Neon and Chlorine. "Is she the one who sat beside my Jungkook?" she asked her friends as they nodded. Jungkook was college heartthrob and leader of the basketball group, so he has a fangirls and following in college. "Hello, don't you have common sense to greet me?" You met her gaze without flinching, refusing to intimidate it. Calmly, "I don't say hi to toxic people. You didn't like her to be owning your husband as her." Her eyes narrow, and Neon steps forward, clearly offended. "How dare you talk like that? Do you even know who she is?" You turn to Neon, eyeing her with a mix of amusement and pity. "First, why don't you tell me about yourself? You're looking pretty colorless." Flooring, the third member of their group, pushes past Neon, her face twisted with anger. "How dare you insult my friends?" You can't help but chuckle, shaking your head at their "You're looking so yellowish. Wait, I have something for you." Turning to Mina, you ask with a smirk, "Mina, do you know this rhyme? Hello, hello, dirty fellow, white, white, orbit, white. Use orbit and you might glow like a buffalo's teeth in the dark." Mina stifles a giggle, while Chlorine and her friends fume with rage, their faces red with embarrassment. They stand tall, enjoying the small victory as the popular girls struggle to come up with a comeback. But then Chlorine grabbed your neck and was squeezing where you're struggling to be free from her grip. Just then a commanding voice hit yours. "Chlorine, leave her." Chlorine's finger loosened and she steps back, her face a mix of surprise and anger. You gasp, for breath, rubbing your sore neck as you look up to see a tall figure standing beside you. Are you okay? Breathing heavily. Yeah, I'm okay. Thanks for helping. He gives you a reassuring smile before turning his attention to Chlorine and her friends who are now looking at him. You guys need to leave her alone now. Chlorine and her friends exchange angry glances before turning and walking away, their heads held high but their faces clearly embarrassed. I'm Daniel. I saw what happened and had to step in. Are you sure you're alright? Yes, I'm fine. Thanks for the help. I'm fine, you said, smiling gratefully. You guys were talking where Jungkook was walking in the same hallway and became so angry and jealous after he saw you talking to Daniel. As Jungkook approached his locker, Daniel left from there to his class. Don't think everyone is a good person. It's better if you limit your talk with strangers, he said while grabbing his books from the locker. Mina was looking at you both confusingly. I know who is safe and who is not. I don't need someone to worry about me. Jungkook's eyes narrow slightly at your response, but he doesn't say anything more. He slams his locker shut and walks off. What's going on here? She was confused. Nothing, let's go. One night in the house, and you have just taken a shower, wrapped in a towel. You are feeling carefree and decided to have a little fun. Music is playing softly from your phone and you are dancing around the room, lost in the rhythm. Suddenly you spin around and open the towel. The door swings open. Jungkook stands in the doorway, his eyes widening in shock as he takes in the sight of you dancing in just a towel. What are you doing? In a panic you realize the towel you were holding falls away. You quickly grab a nearby bedsheet and wrap it around yourself, trying to cover up. Jungkook's face turns red and he slams the door shut as he backs away. Shouting through the door, you felt embarrassed. Don't you have manners, Jungkook? How can you come in like that? Voice muffled through the door, sounding defensive. What about your manners? Don't you know how to lock the door? This is our room, not your single bedroom. You can hear the frustration in his voice, but you are embarrassed to respond immediately. You take a deep breath, trying to regain your composure. You are trying to stay calm. Okay, relax. What did you come for? He said, clearing his throat. Dinner is ready, mom is calling you, he said, and quickly left from there as he was sweating a lot after seeing you in an unexpected position. As you unwrap the bedsheet and put on some clothes, you shake your head, still smiling despite the embarrassment. You are muttering to yourself as you get dressed up. Typical Jungkook, always watching him. When you go downstairs, you can feel his glances, but you try to let go. As you sat across the table, you both exchange glances. The awkwardness slowly fades as you talk and laugh with his family, but you can't help but glance at Jungkook now and then. It's been 2 months since you and Jungkook have been living under one roof. Things are getting slowly normal, but sometimes you see the old Jungkook who used to admire you a lot. You feel he is faking his hatred towards you, but also feel he really hates you. One day you were reading book and then Daniel approached you. Hey Vine, mind if I sit here? Sure Daniel, go ahead, you said, forcing a polite smile. Daniel sits beside you on the bench and you can feel a wave of discomfort. You try to stay focused on your book, but Daniel's presence is distracting. He starts talking about the upcoming cheerleader performance of which you're the leader. I liked your performance the other day. Thank you, Daniel, you said hesitantly. As the Daniel continues to talk, you notice that his eyes keep drifting in a direction that makes Jungkook uncomfortable. They seem to move on here more often than they should. Jungkook sitting next to you becomes visibly tense. His jaw clenches and he watches Daniel with growing irritation. Daniel, could you step outside for a moment? Why should I? What's the problem? Without another word, Jungkook stands up and grabs Daniel's collar, pulling him away from the bench. Leave now. You're supposed to be on the seniors floor. Vine, what's going on? He's surprised, turning to you. Jungkook, let him go. I'm sorry, Daniel. He's just being overprotective. I will handle this. Daniel looks between you and Jungkook, his expression a mix of confusion and frustration. He finally gets up and walks out of the classroom. What was that about? Why did you act like that with my friend? Friend? First know what kind of person he is. Friend, my foot. He walked out angrily. He looked around at the remaining students who had been watching the scene unfold, their whispers filling the room. "He doesn't talk to me nicely, any boy does, he gets angry. Such a crackhead." The whole day passed in cold silence between you and Jungkook. That evening you found yourself on the rooftop trying to process Jungkook's behavior and the scene earlier. Lost in thought, you almost didn't hear the familiar voice until it was too late. "What are you doing here?" Daniel said, approaching with a smirk. Here Daniel and his group have you pinned down, and you're struggling against them. Just then Jungkook burst open the rooftop door and was shocked to see what was happening. Daniel immediately left you as he scared of Jungkook. "Jungkook," you quickly hugged him, cried so badly as you scared. He quickly wrapped his shirt around you. "Ryan, what happened? Are you alright?" He was super angry after seeing your horrible situation. He gritted his teeth, where hands clenched into fists and eyes turned red out of anger. "How dare you do this to my wife?" He made you stand there and jumps upon them like a cheetah and beat them tail. "Yeah, Jungkook, I will not leave you." He tried to punch, but Jungkook just broke his hand. Soon cops were arrived as the watchman called for. Then they took the Daniel and his friends into their custody after knowing about the situation. "Jungkook, I'm sorry. I should have listened to you. I really don't know about him," you said, shedding tears. "No, Wine, I should be sorry for my behavior. I was scared that you would feel low of me because I'm not compatible to you. That's why I behaved." "Jungkook, yes, Wine, I was covered to accept that you are more smart and intelligent than me. I thought you would feel low of me. That's why I acted like this and thought you would leave me. But I'm stupid to know I love you and cannot let you go. Jungkook, I can never feel that way. I don't care about what others think. As long as you love me, I'm happy. I can never think low of you because I know how much you love me. Before that, you should be punished now. Take me to the car. I cannot walk." He carried you in his arms. "I'm ready to die for you." Thank you for watching.